This is Mouthbuzz. Every week, we follow life's strange little breadcrumbs, topics we bumped into, thought about, and maybe completely misunderstood. Join us as we talk it through. We're broadcasting from Reef Point, Scarborough, and today we're going to take you on a very unusual walk. I would say 99% of people have not done this, seen this, or even aware that it's available. But first, what's the buzz?
Well, in my beautiful raspy voice, the buzz today is Queensland Juiciest Quest, the perfect mango.
Wow.
New business idea, LED signs that let you yell politely in traffic.
I love business ideas.
Me too. Breathe in, chill out. Can breath work really work?
Well, breathing is important, you know. I've noticed that. When I hold my breath, it doesn't work so well.
Breathing comes in handy. Toothpaste, from crushed bones to minty foam.
Oh my goodness, what are we doing?
Awareness in the age of AI. Can you still trust your gut?
That's an interesting question. Looking forward to that.
Can you really handle $1 million?
Yes!
Me
No.
too. No. Yes, no, yes. Getting older. It surprises everyone.
Wow. Okay,
Let's do it.
let's do it. We're broadcasting from Scarborough at Reef Point and looking out over North Reef. We're going to take you on a walk today. It's pretty unusual. We're going to attempt to walk on water. And to do this walk fully requires the lowest tide. Certain times of the year, like Easter, are very good for this walk. But you can walk from the beach at Scarborough all the way out onto North Reef. It's probably a couple of kilometres. And when you look back into the mainland, you get a really different perspective on the whole thing. But it's quite fabulous, quite interesting, very different, and we hope you enjoy it. In the meantime, we'll get on with the show.
We'll jump straight into the breeding programs, huh?
Okay.
We're in pursuit of the perfect mango. Which mango do you like?
I like a lot of mangoes, but I think what they used to call Bowen,
Yes.
now called Kensington Pride, I think that kind of older style mango is what I like.
Me too. I still like the Bowen mango the best. Now, guess what?
What?
At the moment, the Department of Primary Industries and Fisheries,
Wow.
they are actually trying to breed the perfect mango.
Is there such a thing?
Well, who knows? Because guess what? Do you remember someone called Peter Beattie?
Yes, he was the Premier of Queensland way back.
In 2007, he hoped for an industry boost and they were trying to create the super mango.
Super mango.
So now we're into the perfect mango. This has been going since the 1960s.
1960s?
This research was started in the 1960s, so it's been 40, 50, 65 years in the making.
Oh, well, perfection takes a bit of time, apparently.
So, but it gets better than that because they're after categories such as shape, taste, and not being susceptible to bugs and things like that. But one of the things that they're going to do is to invite testers. You should have been part of this. You love mangoes. You could have been a taste tester. But what they have to do in their research is they have to get everybody chewing it in exactly the same manner to get the perfect research.
That's crazy because everybody's taste buds are different.
Well, that's the research.
Like how many chews do you do?
I think that's going to be stipulated. I love this research. 65 years for the perfect mango, though. I'm just a bit flabbergasted.
It's kind of like don't hold your breath.
I guess so. What could we research for 40 years or 30 years? Or
How many years have we got left?
I know. However many years we got left. What could we research and then get funded for all these years? It's just, the more I delve into research, it's actually quite funny.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Funding.
I know, right?
That's like jobs for people.
Yes, that's what these people's had since the 1960s. Imagine if there's someone who started in the 1960s to research for the super mango and is now looking for the perfect mango and has been doing this research for 65 years. Imagine if that was your job. That mango. I find that too funny.
So I've got a question.
Yes.
Hasn't nature already provided the perfect mango?
Don't be ridiculous.
Oh, sorry. Did I speak
Seeds are too big. Things are stringy. You've got to get rid of that. Come on.
Oh.
Okay, there it is. I'm intrigued about toothpaste.
Oh, toothpaste.
Well, let's go. What can you tell me about toothpaste?
Well, this is one of these funny things where, for me, toothpaste in the tube has been there for my whole life, right? And for you too.
Yes.
And so you don't think about it at all. Mum goes into the shops and buys toothpaste and you clean your teeth, hopefully 3 times a day. That's the recommendation, isn't it?
And you squeeze it out and you shove it in and whoosh it all about.
Yeah, but I mean, could you even guess what toothpaste was originally made from? And who started this thing called toothpaste?
Chalk.
Have you ever stopped to think about it?
No,
Well, today,
just right now, chalk.
Chalk. Today we're going to think about it.
Okay.
So I had a look at this, and I assumed that toothpaste always just magically lived by the sink in the bathroom. That's where it came from, and you squeezed it and did your teeth. But the real story, it's wild.
So who invented toothpaste?
Well, it turns out, of course, the ancient Egyptians.
Oh.
I'm sure toothpaste and that kind of whole concept came earlier than them, but they were scrubbing their teeth with a powder. Guess what it was made from? No, you can't.
Chalk.
You and your chalk. Burnt ox hooves,
Ooh.
myrrh, eggshells, and pumice.
Oh.
Now,
Abrasive stuff.
Yeah, basically an early version of brushing your teeth with gravel.
Oh, goodness. Really abrasive stuff.
Yeah. So then the Greeks came along and the Romans, and of course they always had to outdo everybody. So he said, why stop at burnt hooves?
Oh, my God.
Let's throw in some crushed bone and oyster shells.
Oh.
I mean,
Oh.
dental health was more like a contact sport back then.
Did they have teeth for very long?
I don't know. I didn't ask about that. And then there's even recipes that included burnt bread and something called dragon's blood.
Ooh.
I know, which sadly is not as mental as it sounds.
Oh.
It's a red resin, but still, imagine brushing your teeth with something called dragon's blood.
Imagine having a toothpaste brand called Dragon's Blood Base.
I'd go for that.
It's marketing. Oh, my goodness, another business idea.
Stick that one in the book. So fast forward to the 1800s and Colgate jumps in with toothpaste in little jars. No tubes yet.
Oh,
Classy little pots of minty mush.
nice.
And like this whole idea of tooth powders, people were still using tooth powders right up until World War One.
That's coming back, isn't it?
You can get it, yes. Yeah, you
it's
can definitely get it.
Having a resurgence.
Then around, I think it was 1908, so around the early 1900s, a brand called Colinos came along. Now, just laughing about your perfect mango research, after 17 years of research, they finally bought us
17
toothpaste
years.
in a squeezable tube.
I'm so amazed we can go to the moon. 17 years to develop toothpaste, 60 years to develop a mango, but we can make it to space.
But we can make it to space.
That's amazing.
And this wasn't even new tech because the collapsible tube had actually been invented back in 1880 for oil paint by the French. Oh, yes.
Painters.
It was made of lead. Which in hindsight maybe wasn't the best thing to rub into your gums.
Ooh.
And then later, in the 1890s, somebody finally bought the bright idea to add fluoride, which your dentist still cheers about today. And get this, in 1985, Colgate Palmolive bought the Colinos brand for how much money? Guess.
$1 million.
A cool $1 billion.
Billion.
$1 billion. That's
insane.
That's a whole lot of toothpaste. So, next time you're brushing your teeth and zoning out, actually, you kind of do that, don't you, when you're brushing your teeth?
Yeah.
Just remember, your minty fresh mouth has come a long way from burnt ox and oyster shell days, and your dentist, probably grateful.
What a story. That's nuts.
Isn't that wild? So there you go, toothpaste. The whole story, almost.
I remember reading a book, Clan of the Cave Bear.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and I remember, I think it was in that book that they squished down the end of twigs, made them soft, and then used twigs to clean their teeth with. So maybe even before the Egyptians.
I reckon it's been around a long, long time.
Like using different implements.
Bad breath is a known thing
Oh,
forever. As long as there's been mouths, there's been bad breath, and teeth cleaning is required.
goodness. Talking about business.
What do you got?
And I've got a great business idea. I've had floating around my head for many years now. So, you know, when you're driving along and people do nutty things in front of you or behind you or beside you and you really want to start yelling at them.
That's called road rage.
True story.
Like when we drove in this morning and there were cyclists on the road.
Yes. But it's very unsatisfying road rage because the other people near you, they can't hear you.
That's
they
right.
don't even know you're doing this, right? So you feel totally dissatisfied.
It's totally an in-car thing.
Yes. And then you've done it and you go, well, what was that for? So I have a way of letting other people know.
What?
Your thoughts. I thought that you could have an LED light board, notice board, in your rear window. And then you'd, of course, being the techie guy, the IT geek, you would have to create an app that sits on your phone and your phone's on your dash and then something happens on the road and you can talk in messages to your phone.
Hey, Bixby, write me a message.
Yes. Write me a message that says blah. So I have some sample messages.
So there's this board across the back of the windscreen.
Yep.
And the messages are visible to people behind you.
That's right.
Ah, I love this.
So you might have to overtake a few times if there's someone doing something not quite right that you're upset about. You'd have to overtake them, pull in front of them, and then get the message
Give
so
them the
they
message.
can see a message. Exactly.
I love that.
Now, I saw a car the other day, and their number plate was C4T. I'm not sure.
C4T.
Yeah. So I'm not sure whether that's spelled cat or not.
Oh, right, yes.
But I thought of a message for them and I was going to say, C4T, I like your number plate, or great paint job, or, this is a beauty, I thought of this one too, stop trying to sniff my bum, we're not dogs. So is that a polite way of telling people off? Or you could spread beautiful messages for the day. I think that'd be great to have such interaction.
I think it'd be great too. And you could include the very popular emojis.
Oh, yes.
And you could say, hi, Bixby, or what's the other one? Siri. Hi, Siri. Include the smiley emoji or the heart emoji or the devil emoji to add emphasis to your message.
You really want to know your emojis.
You would want to know your
Because if you get it
emojis.
wrong, it might be a pickup line and you didn't know.
That's right.
And they might follow you and then ask you out on the date. Oh, my goodness. This is
a car dating service.
Yes. See, snowballing, lots of ideas.
I'd just like to jump in here saying, please note, dear listeners, that we are not advocating people typing into their phone while they're driving.
No,
This
voice
is a message,
activated.
voice activated, voice to text.
Absolutely.
AI. We could include AI, and you could give it the basic idea, and then it could formulate and type out
Yes.
the rocket
And
message.
you could ask it to refrain from using expletives.
Or
Whatever you
Dot,
want.
dot.
Whatever you want. Yeah. Great idea. This business got teeth. It's a goer. Who wants it? Call me. Let me know for more. I'll give you more details.
what if every window in your car had an invisible film on it, and when you did the message thing, it flashed on all of the windows, so people on the side could see it, people at the front could see it, and people at the back could see it.
Oh, my goodness.
How about that?
Do you think we might cause accidents? People are too busy reading each other's messages.
This could go viral.
I know.
I
Into
love
each
that
other.
idea. You are so clever. Let's patent that quickly
Yeah, it's quick.
before we publish.
Are you ready to discuss awareness and trusting our gut?
Oh, wow. Yes.
Goodness. That's a big one.
Do you know, I was looking at this. There is so much information. It is so easy to perpetrate conspiracy theories, false information. Any information you want can be put up and done in a very professional way to make it look and sound like it's real, like it's true.
Legitimate, yeah.
Yeah, and in this age of so much information, I was listening to somebody, they were talking about kids and mobile phones, like young children. And they were saying that on a mobile phone, you know, when you look at Facebook or the internet or something, there's more information there than in olden days that somebody would receive in a year.
Yes.
The amount of information coming through is huge. And where do we go to get the truth? That's kind of where I'm looking at the moment. And really...
That's a good question.
Really, what we've got is we've got us and our awareness. So what does that mean? What is awareness? Well, awareness is simply what you know in the moment, right now. So, for example, if you're reading some article about Donald Trump said this or so-and-so said that or this new thing will do this for you, you can ask yourself, will this work for me? Will this work? Is this fake? Is this true? So you get into question. And question doesn't necessarily give you an answer, but it does give you the possibility of greater awareness about a thing.
And you might get a trigger in your gut.
Yeah,
perhaps.
It could be a trigger in your gut. It could be just a sense of. And what we've tended to do is to refer to the experts and the studies and people we trust for some reason.
The mango studies.
The mango studies. And we discount us as being something or somebody that would know whether this was true or not. And so we've got to get back to what we know as truth and not relying on every other outside source of us to provide us with the information. We know what works for us if we're willing to acknowledge that and work with that.
So we don't really need to look at all of this information and scrolling and knowing everything that's going on in the world.
Well, we can because it's entertaining and it's the way of things these days, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's that we tend to look outside of ourselves for what's true. And really, we're the only ones that know what's true for us. And so you've got to trust the expression is trust your gut, go with your gut. I would expand that out a little bit because your gut belongs to your body and your gut's often an emotional reaction to something, and that's fine. But what do you know? What do you know as a being about something, about the choices you're making, about the information you're receiving, about what you're considering to act on? What do you know about that? And for me, the simplest question that puts you on a path or a sense of whether this is something you desire or can work for you is, will this work? Will this work for me?
But you're talking about that now. You actually are saying that in order to be able to do that, I have to have a sense of myself and who I am, and I really need to be connected with me. Because if I don't have any of that, if I've been so disconnected with me and my body, then I won't even know any of that.
That's right. You're always relying on outside sources.
On outside, yeah.
And I think this is part of the journey of life that's available, that's possible if you choose it, is to look at those deep-seated, often hidden points of view and decisions that you've made along your lifetime to see whether they really are real. You know, how many points of view have we taken on board, taken from our parents? I mean, I can remember my dad saying to me, Stephen, $200 a day is a good wage for a man.
Right.
Now, as a young boy, I took that on board because I trusted my dad.
Yes. And that would have been your target. I want to get to $200 a day.
Yeah. Now, $200 a day.
And you may not have ever updated that.
That's right. It still sits there as a solid thing that I trusted, that I'm still referring to this very day. So once I became aware of that, I could go, oh, okay, that's different now. That was him. That's not me.
Yeah.
And move on. And not have that as this hidden point of view that's kind of influencing, affecting all of my choices around money.
I'm really good at going with what other people say. Someone might say something, someone might have an opinion about someone else, and I go, oh, yeah, okay, and I'll buy their point of view.
Yeah.
And then later when I start questioning, I think, actually, I don't believe that. I have a different point of view, and I have to find my own way again, because I get so distracted.
Exactly.
I get so distracted by friends who've got so many ideas and go, oh, that's a great idea. And it might be about something they eat. and then I eat it and I have an allergic reaction. And I bought it from them that it was actually good for me because they said it was good for me.
That's right. Because you didn't get to asking a question.
Yeah, that's right.
About how will this be with my body?
Yeah.
In fact, even asking your body, there's ways of doing that. So, awareness, a tool, a capacity that we've always had that we've discounted for modern day news, fake news, internet information,
entertainment,
videos, entertainment, blah, 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 blah.
That brings me on to something.
What have you got?
Brings me on to breathing.
I'm breathing.
I know. Breathing is amazing.
I like it.
You come into the world, you get a little tap, and you go, and you take your first breath. How often in a day are you aware of your breath?
When I run out of it.
So basically you're telling me it's basically automatic, right?
It is an automatic system.
Okay,
yes.
And if you were to show me on your body how deep your breath goes into your body, where would it be?
Well, it depends if I'm consciously breathing. I'll breathe.
No, automatic. Not consciously breathing.
Generally shallow.
Okay, shallow.
Middle lungs, middle chest.
Yeah, and that might be quite deep. Middle lungs, middle chest.
Maybe.
Some people breathe a lot shallower. Do you know what happens when you take shallow breaths?
What?
Shallow and fast. You are in the fear and panic and flight mode.
Oh, really?
Yes. And there have been studies done in the past. People used to take about 6 to 10 breaths a minute. Guess what it is now?
What is it now?
Up to 14 to 16.
Wow.
So breathing has changed over the years and we are not consciously breathing. I did a workshop the other day and we had a breathwork session. Amazing. So it's got its roots in yoga and Tibetan Buddhism a long time ago. And you can do exercises. They're called somatic breathing exercises or conscious breathing, like I just said. And if you do it with a practitioner, or you can do it yourself by listening to music, you can change your breath and you can bring it a lot deeper and you vary it. You vary the time and you hold your breath every now and then really slow in, faster out, or even, and slow everything down, pull everything down. And what it does is connects the mind and the body and the spirit by influencing emotional states.
Wow.
And if you do it we did it for 20 minutes and it can reduce stress and it could potentially release stored trauma. Now, I hadn't done breath work for ages and the other day I did it and we did a 20-minute session on the floor and when we were finished, I rolled over onto my side and my body started crying.
Wow.
And there was no reason. It wasn't anything, I'm crying about this or that. It was just, I had a really tight neck and shoulders and the tears were just flowing.
Wow.
From 20 minutes, varied deep breath. So I know that it works for myself. It is amazing.
So probably not a good thing to do if you're in a business meeting.
No, but what you could do in a business meeting, breathe in for 5 seconds and breathe out for 5 seconds. And you can do that for a couple of minutes and that will then get you into that middle state where you are into a state of much more balanced and much more in control. Because you've come out of that fight,
quick,
shallow panic breathing and you've lowered it and you become a lot more cool, calm and collected.
Well, actually, as you've been talking about this, I've become aware of my breathing.
Yes.
And I've gone from whatever breathing I was doing before to a deeper breathing, pulling the air deeper down into my body. It's noticeable. How often do we just go on autopilot with that?
Well, 100%.
Yeah.
Unless you actually do some of these exercises,
Yeah.
100%. And then when you're watching the news, like we were talking about, and watching this, and you get caught up in that, and your breath will be even shallower because you react to the things that you see in social media, on TV, whatever your addiction is. Interesting, huh?
You're not aware of that, are you?
No, you're not. Exactly.
Because it's become more normalised.
Yes. If you know it and you're aware of it, that's the first step to change.
Yeah. Awareness.
Yes.
We covered that in another segment.
I know.
It's everywhere.
It's connected.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Whew.
Wow.
Bit deep and meaningful. Okay, talk to me about $1 million.
$1 million.
I could handle $1 million.
Can you handle $1 million?
I reckon I could probably handle more than $1 million.
On Facebook, I've been receiving a lot of advertisements from particularly people who are teaching AI, because I'm interested in that topic and Facebook is feeding me. And so I'm getting a lot of adverts on that. And they all coming on saying, you know, I did this thing and I earned $300,000 or $1 million or $1.8 million or whatever it was. And now I've got this system and I will teach you my system. And then other ones talk about money and making money and what people do with money and all sorts of things. And I come back to this thing, right? If you have a point of view about money that limits the amount of money you can receive, the amount of money you can make, then it doesn't matter what scheme you get involved in, that point of view will cause you, or you will take an action to get rid of the money that you could make, or to destroy the possibility, or to break the business so that you don't exceed the limited point of view you have about money. And you see this often, right? Somebody wins $3.4 million on the lottery.
Yes.
And you hear the stories, right? 2 years later, 3 years later, totally broke.
All gone.
All gone. Or even in debt.
Yes.
I mean, how could you get in debt from $3.4 million down to negative? It's so well known now that the UK, I think it is, the winners of the big amounts of money, they get a financial consultant along with the winnings to help them plan out their future so that they don't lose all this money.
That's a good idea.
Well, it is.
It's wise.
But if you've still got this point of view about the amount of money you can handle.
I just thought if you still have that point of view and you employ a consultant, the consultant might end up with the money.
It's entirely possible. If you got $10 million, what does that bring with it?
Wow. A wow factor.
Well, it's a wow, right, isn't it? But would you think to yourself, I don't think I can manage $10 million. Somebody might steal it. Where do I put it?
I don't know what to do with it because I'm used to living from paycheck to paycheck.
That's right. What tax do I have to pay? How do I invest it? What do I...
Oh, there's a whole lot of education that comes with it.
That's right.
Oh, I never realised that until you just pointed that out.
And so until you get to and look at your limiting beliefs about money, you can buy into all these schemes, but you will sabotage that every time.
It's so funny. I've been in about 10 of them. I've been in about 10 multi-level marketing businesses.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I should have done the money education first.
Yeah. And often the schemes are fine, right? Often the people selling these things probably have a good system. Whatever,
and they've got good products quite often.
Whatever, that's fine. And that's not the issue. So people go away blaming the product.
Yes. Or the company.
Or the scheme or whatever it was, rather than actually looking at what their part in this is.
That reminds me, when I was younger, I know I had a ceiling with money because whenever I got to having it used to be about $3,000 in the bank, and then it was gone. And I had to start again, always get to 3,000. And then I learned about having an artificial ceiling that you set up yourself. So then I upped my ceiling to 10,000 and then to 20 and then to 30. And it's now way higher than that. But it was always the same. I'd set this, I go, okay, now I'm going for this amount. And sure enough, I'd get there and then I'd buy something.
Sabotage it.
All the time.
Yeah, knock it down.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. We did a segment a few weeks ago about the difference between having money and spending money.
Yes.
Same sort of idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So there you go. Can you handle $1 million now?
Way more. Way more.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Bring it on, baby.
Bring it on. Are you getting older?
Yes.
Are you getting surprised?
Yes.
I got surprised the other day. We watched a video of you with one of your songs that you made about 10 years ago. And I looked and I went, wow, because we see each other each day. We don't realise the changes that much. And I saw the video and I looked at you and going, who are you? Who was that man? Very different. That was my surprise.
Brown hair.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Too funny.
Actually, for me, what's been showing up is my dad is 92 years old and his partner, Joni, is 96, I think. She's several years older. my dad has been caring for Joan because she's getting a little bit older and she's not quite as capable as she was. And just recently, my dad broke down. He'd been in for an eye operation, and when he came out of that, he didn't recover well from it, and he wasn't able to care and even run his own life as well as he had been in the past. And he had this realization that he was getting close to the end of his life. He was getting a bit too old to do the things that he had been doing well.
And he's been doing a lot.
Oh, yes.
He plays golf, cards, shops, drives.
Does all the cooking. And,
Yep.
Look, make sure that Joni's okay. But he suddenly got to this point where he realized that his body just couldn't do this anymore in the same way.
Wow.
And that was the surprise. Because suddenly there was a change, a dramatic change, because he'd not been looking after himself very well. All of his energies had been going towards caring for Joni.
He's been running on empty.
Yep. And he was sort of managing, and then he had this operation and it just knocked him off the fence. And so now we've got a whole thing going on with him and Joan. And do they go into care? How do we kids come in and help with this?
Yeah.
And so it's been a bit of a surprise for all of us because I thought my dad would go on forever.
Yeah.
But of course, he's not going to.
And these are big changes.
These are big changes.
So I've watched a few colleagues at work managing that with their parents, the end of life. And they've all had to take time off work to go and deal with all of these things, with departments and paperwork and all sorts of things, discussions.
There's a lot in this, and we are just beginning our journey with this. And so I think we'll do a segment on how the dad is going. But I think the key thing here is that he was surprised, I was surprised, and we should not have been surprised at all.
No, I know.
When you look back at it, it's obvious what was happening.
Yes, and he'd been, even in conversations, he'd been dropping hints all the way along.
Yes, and also having said that, he was not willing to receive any help. He was not really willing to look at his situation and see that he was overworking himself, that he was becoming exhausted, so that when his body required this operation, it wasn't capable of recovering. It wasn't capable of the operation. If he'd been smarter, he wouldn't have had it at this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Asking for help is an interesting thing in itself.
Yeah. Particularly for men, I really doubt that's true. But when you've been looking after yourself, running your life, you've got 90 years on the table, you know what you're doing, right? You've lived a life. And then to suddenly
have to ask for help.
That suddenly realise you're really quite feeble and not capable, and having then to ask for help. I'm glad he asked.
Yes.
That opens the door for us, my sister and I, to do more. But it's taken a long time. So here we are. More to come. Well, is that it for today?
That's it for today.
Fantastic. Same place next week?
Perhaps not.
Same time?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You've been listening to Mouthbuzz. Subscribe to stay in the loop and be part of the conversation next time.